Yeah, it's here again. And today and tomorrow might be your last chance to enjoy some mid-50s for the rest of the year. It looks like it's going to cool off drastically the rest of this week with high temps in the low 40s, maybe even upper 30s. Yeah. Obviously, if you're up and down the Mississippi River this morning, it's going to be very foggy. So even when it gets light out at, 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever time that is now, keep those headlights on so people can see you in the thick and dense fog. What do we got? We'll get to bad news, happy music later on. We'll, of course, recap the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing that happened this weekend. I wouldn't really call it a fight. We'll give you a list of things you can do to be happier this time of year. We could all use a little bit of that, right? Seasonal affective disorder for some people. The hustle and bustle of the holidays. Maybe it gets to be a little too much. Also, if you need to hear something, find us online at rockmornings.com. You can see all of our contact info on the website. You can register for prizes, listen to the show live, and, of course, check out the daily podcast. We got Wage War from Magnetic from Wage War in just a bit. Also, some Green Day. And if you want to add to that, again, find us online at rockmornings.com.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Jean. She is on her way to England. Just having a little convo on Facebook with Jean, who, of course, went to Germany last week and then spent a couple of days in France, had some snails, and now she's waiting for a really fast train to take them to England, where they're going to stay for a couple of days and visit with a friend of ours, Carl, our buddy Carl, who has been listening to us for a number of years and came over and visited. And now they're going to visit him. Go and get some fish and chippers, I think is what they call it, right? This time of year, of course, everybody buying carrots and stuffing and potatoes and gravy and turkeys and all that stuff. And the carrots, very important right now because the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, recalling several brands of organic whole carrots and organic baby carrots after it was discovered they were contaminated by E. coli. Saturday, November 16th, so this weekend, Grimway Farms issuing the recall of its products. Importantly, the company and the FDA noted that the recall of the carrots should no longer be in the recall that the carrots should no longer be in grocery stores, but may be in consumers' refrigerators or freezers. That's Grimway, Grimmway, Grimway Farms. E. coli product recalls shipped to retail distribution centers all across the United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada. Organic whole carrots, organic baby carrots. Carrots were sold under several different brand names, including 365, Bunny Love, Cal Organic, Compliments, Full Circle, and a whole bunch of others. Obviously, if you want all the details, go to the FDA's website, give it a Google, but the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports that the carrots may be the root cause for a multi-state E. coli outbreak, sickening almost 40 people across 18 different states, hospitalizing 15 people, and one death in California. So, again, destroy or discard the carrots so they cannot be consumed. Find out more, go to the FDA's website or Google it. An organic carrot recall. Whole carrots and baby carrots apparently have E. coli. Speaking of Thanksgiving, sounds like winter storms are going to be impacting travel all throughout the nation. Accumulating snow, colder temperatures, strong winds, and some rain. Millions of people trying to go here, go there, over the hills and through the woods, through grandmother's house we go. The first widespread winter storm of the season. The second in a pair of storms that are set to sweep across the United States this week. The first storm system already underway, producing severe weather across the southern plains, including some severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings stretching across parts of Texas and Oklahoma. As it moves up north this week, Arctic air will collide, and then, of course, the next thing you know, widespread snow across the Dakotas, potentially into portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Strong winds expected to develop on the western side of the system tomorrow, with wind gusts reaching 50 to 60 miles per hour in the Dakotas. And, so if you've got travel plans, especially on Wednesday, they're saying cities like Minneapolis as well as Green Bay and Milwaukee will be on alert for potential snow showers throughout the day as colder air wraps around that storm system. Yeah, think about that if you're going to be traveling. Obviously, Thanksgiving not till next week, but some people maybe go a little bit earlier. Maybe. Elsewhere, breaking news this morning, Spirit Airlines filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection following significant financial struggles due to mounting losses and debt maturities. The filing comes after 2 failed mergers in less than 2 years. One recently with Frontier and another in 2024 earlier this year with JetBlue, but neither of those worked out. So Spirit filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Their president and CEO, Ted Christie, said the airline has entered into an agreement with its bondholders that is expected to reduce the company's total debt and provide increased financial flexibility. Speaking of planes, Chippewa Valley Air Show announcing that the U.S. Navy Blue Angels winter preseason visit is happening tomorrow. According to a press release from the Chippewa Valley Air Show, U.S. Navy Blue Angels Jet number 7 scheduled to arrive at the Chippewa Valley Regional Airport tomorrow at about 11 a.m. While in town, representatives from the demonstration flight team are expected to meet with air show organizers and begin planning for the show, which will be in June of next year, June 28th and 29th to be exact, at the Chippewa Valley Regional Airport. But tickets go on sale, by the way, the 19th, so that'll be tomorrow. ChippewaValleyAirShow.com for more information. But look out in the skies for the U.S. Navy Blue Angels Jet number 7 tomorrow morning at about 11 a.m. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Ashley said, not sure if I may have missed it the other day, but can you play Forget It by Breaking Benjamin for my birthday, please? Yeah, I think I can do that. Happy birthday, by the way, Ashley. Drive safe. Very foggy in certain areas this morning. Going to be in the mid-50s today with some rain moving in this afternoon. Continuing during the overnight into tomorrow morning. Could be heavy at times. And then in the mid to upper 50s tomorrow before all of a sudden going right off the cliff and down into the 40s. Yeah, we're looking at temps in the low 40s, maybe upper 30s the rest of this week after tomorrow. Got to get those lights up. I keep saying that. I've got Halloween lights still on the house, so I have to take those down. And then I got to get the Christmas lights up. And I realized this weekend we were starting to take some of our Christmas stuff out of the basement, decorations and whatnot. And I realized that I threw away a bunch of our Christmas lights last year. So now I got to go and figure out what the hell's missing and what I got to pick up this year. And not good. Kind of a pain in the ass. But I definitely want to get that done today or tomorrow before we start to see temperatures in the 40s and 30s the rest of this week. Don't want to be out there freezing my keister off. Ashley, happy birthday. Wanted to hear some Breaking Benjamin. Here you go.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
And it's blocked! Oh my goodness, the Packers block it, and they're going to win! Green Bay survives!
Yeah. Jordan Love running for a go-ahead score in the closing minutes of the game yesterday, and then the Packers, of course, hanging on to beat the Bears 20-19 when Carl Brooks blocked Cairo Santos's kick from 46 yards as time expired. The Bears still suck.
How could you ever love a team with Jim McMahon? Not even Porky Pig was as big a ham.
Vikings over the Titans yesterday, 23-13. The Lions absolutely destroyed the Jags, 52-6. Chiefs are undefeated no more. They lost to Buffalo yesterday, 30-21. And Week 11 in the NFL will wrap up tonight with the Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Bears still suck. Just when you thought. Just when you thought. Nope. I think it was a lot closer than people expected. I think the Bears offense, obviously after the loss to New England the week before, looked a little bit better. They were certainly excited in Chicago about scoring actual touchdowns for the first time in several weeks, but just couldn't get the job done. It's like one little finger altered the trajectory of the ball. Bucks lost to the Hornets on Saturday, 115-114. They're at home against Houston tonight at 7 o'clock on NBA TV. LaMelo Ball getting fined by the NBA for a lot of money. The max, actually, I think it was $100,000. He made some comments after the game against the Bucks, and a little bit derogatory. The NBA came down hard on him, $100,000 fine. Darius Garland, 25 points. Ty Jerome matching his career high with 24 in place of Donovan Mitchell. And the Cavaliers stayed unbeaten with a 128-114 win over the Charlotte Hornets last night. Cavs are now the fourth team in NBA history to start 15-0 and are tied for the second best start to a season in NBA history, trailing only the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors, who, of course, started 24-0 and then finished with a 73-9 record. The Cavaliers will put their perfect start on the line tomorrow night against the defending NBA champion Boston Celtics in Boston at the TD Garden. Contrary to what everybody kind of thought was going to happen, the Badgers did not get throttled by number one Oregon on Saturday. They did lose, but it was only 16-13. Badgers are now 5-5 on the season. They are at Nebraska on Saturday at 2:30 on the Big Ten Network, and they, of course, also fired their offensive coordinator, Longo. They got rid of his ass. Phil Longo let go yesterday after the Badgers' 16-13 loss to Oregon. Badgers head football coach Luke Fickell thanked Longo for his 2 seasons with the program, said, quote, "We are not where we need to be and believe this decision is the best in the best interest of the team." So shaking things up a little bit. Only 2 more games left in the regular season for the Badgers. It obviously won't make much of a difference at this point, but we'll see what they do going forward. The basketball team, however, remained undefeated. They beat number 9 Arizona on Friday night, 103-88. Next up, they're at home tonight against Texas Rio Grande at 7 o'clock. That game will be on the Big Ten Network. And, of course, next hour we'll talk more about the whole Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a text from Rob. "I hate football. Every single year it's the same crap. Only 129 days until opening day." Well, just cheer for a different team. You know, nobody's... Look, I wouldn't do it. But if your team is so bad that they constantly let you down, then move on. There's other teams out there. You don't have to stay a fan of the same team. Just because your dad forced you to like that team when you grew up, or you grew up in a certain geographical area. It's okay. You don't have to... I mean, you can still have love in your heart for the Bears. You just don't have to cheer for them, you know? I mean, right now, the Patriots are a dumpster fire. Yeah, they got a good quarterback, potentially, for the future, but the team is terrible. But you can move on. It's okay. We got Lincoln Park coming up in just a bit. If you need something, rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Are you ready for some football? Oh, Monday Night Party. Monday Night Football tonight on ESPN. The Cowboys hosting the Texans. If that's not your jam, you can watch The Voice on NBC. It's part 3 of the knockout rounds. Fall finale of Rescue High Surf on Fox tonight. Over on CBS, they have a special called The Making of Gladiator 2. Over on Max, the movie Watchmen, Chapter 1. 2-part animated remake of the DC Comics movie. It stars Katie Sackhoff as Silk Spectre, and that's the only person I really recognize. Yeah. Also on television tonight, Superman and Lois, 911, Lone Star. Brilliant minds in what we do in the shadows. Late night TV, Fallon's got Cher, Zoe Deutsch, and Gwen Stefani. It's bananas. Beananas. Kimmel's got Denzel Washington, speaking of Gladiator 2. Also, Dwight Yoakam is going to be on with Kimmel. Josh Brolin and Casey Musgraves on with Stephen Colbert, Kristen Chenoweth, and Jimmy O. Yang on with Seth Meyers. Interesting story about Jaleel White. You might remember him as Steve Urkel. Yeah, from Family Matters. Steve Urkel, remember him? Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Yeah, that guy. Apparently, he's got a memoir coming out, a book called Growing Up Urkel, and reveals that apparently he's packing some heat. So much heat that they had to make him wear bigger jeans in the later seasons. Season 8, executives said, quote, let's get rid of the suspenders, lower his pants too. Oh, and, quote, it's getting a bit uncomfortable watching him in tight jeans. There's a bulge. Urkel. He's swinging. In addition to his pants, Jaleel also outgrew his pipes. He said that as he got older, it was physically painful to keep speaking in Steve's high-pitched voice. But Stephen Urkel, Jaleel White, with a memoir coming out tomorrow, apparently, a new book called Growing Up Urkel. I'm going to run right out to Barnes & Nobles and buy that one. Not. I'll just read the highlights on the internet about his massive dong. If you're a fan of the intellectual properties, right, becoming free for everyone to use, Winnie the Pooh, right? We saw that one. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Then Mickey Mouse, right? Intellectual properties, those kind of things. The new one, the next one is Popeye. Apparently, Popeye is going to be in a horror movie.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eat spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
The movie, simply called Popeye, expected to be released sometime in January. I don't think it'll be in theaters, but it'll probably be one of those streaming services type things. It's not part of the Poohniverse that started with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but it is the same basic idea. It's described as a raunchy and gory slasher where Popeye attacks a group of counselors who are trying to open a summer camp. Not quite sure why they went with summer camp instead of like a yacht club or pirates or something. I don't know. Maybe because it was cheap. But you can check out Popeye in January. There's already pictures floating around online from the movie. It's almost like, when I saw the pictures, it's almost like they didn't even try with his arms. You know, Popeye's got the big forearms, and there's one picture where it's obviously not even close to being a real arm. Anyways, so there's that. Got a request from someone wanted to hear Bat Country from A7X. Try to get that here in a couple minutes. Rob, again, very upset about his Bears. So does that mean you're going to stop rooting for Boston area teams once a fan picks a team that's their team unless you bandwagon like the Swifties? I'm not going to, but I'm suggesting that you can. I mean, look, dude, if you want a bandwagon, go for it. I'm just saying, like, if you're that miserable about a football team, then maybe pick a different football team. Or maybe have options, have a couple. I get it. We make fun of those people, but maybe they're happier. I'm not saying that I'm going to. I'm just saying that you can. We'll get to that A7X right after Marilyn Manson. It's The Beautiful People.
Rock mornings. Only on 95.7 The Rock.
A7X, that is Bad Country. That is for Zach. Said thanks for playing it. You're welcome, Zach. Happy to help. Rockmornings.com for all our contact info if you want to request something or let me know what's going on with you. Here's what's going on with me.
Thank you for being a friend.
I love the Golden Girls. I'll be the first to admit it. And in 2025, the United States Postal Service is releasing a Betty White stamp. Oh, very excited about this. Just saw the news this morning. America's Golden Girl, Betty White, being honored next year with her very own stamp. She's among the first 2025 designs that the Postal Service announced on Friday. Chosen as an icon of American television who, quote, shared her wit and warmth with viewers for 7 decades. The USPS added that the comedic actor who gained younger generations gained younger generations of fans as she entered into her 90s, was also revered as a compassionate advocate for animals. Yes, she was. It's crazy to believe, but it's been almost 3 years since she passed away. She died on December 31st of 2021, just 18 days shy of her 100th birthday. So look for a Betty White stamp sometime in 2025. They did not release the date on that yet as to when those will be available. But keep an eye on that. Go get myself some. Not going to put them on any letters, but it'd be nice to have some Betty White stamps. Maybe the occasional one, maybe a special one. Like that last mortgage payment. I got a few years before that happens. A lot of years, actually. Music coming up in just a bit from Evanescence. Again, rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. You can also listen to the show live on the website. Check out the daily podcast, rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is Evanescence. Bring me to life. Again, lights on with the fog this morning, even though it's starting to get light out. Try to remember to keep your lights on if you're headed somewhere so people can see you. Yeah, foggy. World War II vet in Rhode Island just got his high school diploma. He's 98 years old. His name is Anthony Simeon, and he was born on the 4th of July back in 1926. He dropped out of school at the age of 16 so he could support his family during the Great Depression. A lot of people did, obviously. Then he enlisted in the Army and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He eventually got his GED. Never got an actual diploma, so his family made it happen last week. They got his high school to hold a graduation ceremony on Veterans Day. How cool is that?
I'm really honored to be here, and I want to say I'm very proud of my family, and I'm very proud for my military service I was in, and I wish I could have stayed in longer.
Hell yeah. Real American hero right there. Anthony Simeon from Cranston, Rhode Island. Left school at 16 to work. Earned money for his family during the Great Depression. Drafted into the Army at 18. Served for 2 years during World War II. He said the Battle of the Bulge was the single deadliest World War II battle for the United States. It showed the world that Hitler could be defeated. At the time, the Battle of the Bulge was the last major German offensive campaign on the Western Front. After he returned from war, he continued his education, earning a GED from the New England Technical Institute of Technology. Unfortunately, though, never experienced a graduation ceremony or got a high school diploma until now. His family, including his kids and grandkids, working with the high school to have a ceremony, getting him his honorary diploma. Very nice. Well deserved. Well deserved. Anthony Simeon of Rhode Island. Here's a guy in Texas, 65-year-old father. Back in the 80s, started having kids, and when his second kid was born, he had to sell his dream car. It was a Camaro, a 67 Camaro. Had to sell it because now I got 2 kids, and I need money for diapers. Oh, and I got to buy a minivan. Yeah. After his second kid was born, bought a minivan. The guy's name is Earl Gwines. Used to tease his son Jared about it, saying that he sold his 67 Camaro for diaper money. And now 4 decades later, after he sold it, Jared just gave him his Camaro back. Now, he couldn't find the actual car, the one that his dad sold, but he found the same model, spent 2 years fixing it up in secret, and then gave it to his dad for his 65th birthday. He said it was the best way he could think of to thank him for being such a good dad.
That is not just a 67 Camaro.
Right?
That is your 67 Camaro. That is your car. Thanks for the diaper money, Dad.
That was my car.
Yeah, it's your car.
Wanting Dad to really understand how much I love him. And I'm like, what is the greatest thing possible? And it's the Camaro. It was always going to be the Camaro.
Oof. Right in the feels. By the way, if you want to read more about that story, it's on the Rock Mornings Facebook page. And if you don't know where that is, you can find out on our website, rockmornings.com. But Gwines, the dad, says, I was working in automotive, I was in parts, and one of my employees had the car, and I liked it. It was blue with white stripes down across the hood and down the back. 2 doors, of course. 67 were the ones with the wing window on the side. The car was loud, and people would kind of always be looking at you, and you'd always see somebody side-eyeing like that car come down the street. It was just a cool thing, a fun thing to do, you know? But, of course, married his sweetheart, Mona, became a father to Jennifer. And then a couple of years later, they welcomed their son, Jared. And with a couple of little ones at home and the practicality of a Camaro and 2 kids, they don't really sync up there, not like Lego pieces. So decided to get rid of the Camaro, cash it in, and buy a minivan. Said, I used to tease Jared quite a bit. I used to have a car like that one over there. Yeah, I let it go for diaper money. You needed diapers, so that's what happened to that car. Fast forward, all these years later, Jared, again, bought the Camaro, spent 2 years fixing it up in secret, and then just presented it to his dad for his birthday. It's a 1967 Marina Blue Camaro SS with a 350 small block V8, automatic 3-speed tranny. Krager Chrome 15-inch mag wheels with white letters on the tires, small 1969 style cowl hood on the front, small white tail on the back, black interior. It's a beautiful car, by the way. And again, you can get a good look at it if you go to the Rock Mornings Facebook page and read more about Jared and his dad, Earl. Now that's a hell of a present. Beautiful car. Absolutely lovely. Going to get to Disturbed in a bit. If you need something, again, rockmornings.com. Head to the website. All our contact info. Lights on. Very foggy. Keep those lights on.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
This time of year, people tend to be a little less happy, especially with the weather, the darkness. Mentioned it earlier, seasonal affective disorder for some people. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, widely recognized to be a well-known doctor of all sorts of different stuff, recently compared people who are happy all the time to naturally thin people and don't have to work at it. It's kind of annoying, right? I know a lot of people who are naturally happy. I am not one of those people. So here are some tips on how you could be a happier person from experts, happy experts. Find things you can become fully absorbed in. When you're fully engaged in something, you don't notice the passage of time. It's called a flow state, associated with more joy. So if that's video games, puzzles, crocheting, zoning out, watching episodes of Seinfeld or The Office, whatever that is, doesn't have to be productive. It can be just something you get fully immersed in, right? Documentaries on true crime, right? We realized this weekend, as we were trying to watch something on Netflix yesterday after the football games were over, we've seen all those documentaries already. They got to start pumping some more out. It's getting light. Not going to have any left. Next up on the list of things you can do to be happier, according to happiness experts, practice random acts of kindness. Can make you feel generous, capable, bring more joy to your life. I don't think that's necessarily, signing up to ring the bell. I mean, you could certainly do that, but more random. Like if you see, I don't know, somebody collecting toys for tots or whatever that might be, and you randomly just say, hey, I got $10. Here you go. Nurture your relationships, next on the list of things you can do to be happier. Research shows that the more that they can be more important to happiness than your money, your job, or even your health. your relationships. Express gratitude, number 4 on the list, and that is, of course, counting your blessings, being thankful for them, and last is celebrating good news, whether it's a pregnancy or a marriage or a job promotion or a retirement. Not just for other people, but also for yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back when you've earned one. So if you finish a big project at work or something along those lines, or you get that house project done that you've been trying to do, maybe putting it off, now you finally get it done, give yourself a pat on the back. 5 little things you can do to apparently be happier. Best of luck. I know it's tough this time of year. Even with Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holidays and all that stuff, sometimes it's just not a good time for people. Especially if you've lost like family members around this time of year or pets. That's kind of our issue, is that I told my wife, I'm like, what is it about the friggin' holidays and our dogs? It seems like every time we have to put a dog down, it's like around Christmas or something goes crazy. It's like right around the holidays. Yeah. But there you go. Some tips to try and be happier in your daily life. Obviously with the weather and getting darker early. I don't mind it. I like it because when I go to bed around 7 o'clock, it's pitch black outside. During the summer, it's like, good luck trying to get some sleep with that. Ugh, too damn bright. No, thank you. Second Floor Sarah is going to join us after 8 o'clock to talk about stuff that's happening in our area this week. Bad news, happy music. A bit later on, also going to recap the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson event from Friday. I would not call it a fight. I would call it an event. Going to get into that. Stick around. Jelly Roll now, liar.
Rock mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
After 8 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake El Gallo Paul.
Yeah. What did I tell you on Friday? They ain't even going to get into the ring till after 11 o'clock. And I was right. This thing, from start to finish, was pathetic. Every single thing about this sucked. There was absolutely nothing good about it, with the exception of the fact that it was not a pay-per-view. So I didn't have to spend anything extra to watch this bleep show. We already have Netflix. For the most part at our house, I know a lot of people struggled with their connections. At our house, we didn't really lose a connection. Now, we would go from HD to low D during the fights, but it would pop back at some point, but we never had the spinning circle of death while we were watching at our house. I know a lot of people struggle with that across the country. They're saying that 60 million people tuned in for this. And even though a couple of the prelim fights were okay, the outcome of the chick fight, Katie Taylor beating Amanda Serrano, was obviously a work. The fix was in. I mean, Serrano beat her ass. Katie Taylor looked like she didn't. You could have asked her what day it was, and she wouldn't have known. She looked like she was completely lost. Katie Taylor. Somehow she maintained and retained her championship belt. I don't know how. I mean, she headbutted her several times. And part of that is because she was significantly shorter, and she was just trying to grab onto this girl so she didn't get her brains beaten out. But somehow Amanda Serrano did not win that fight. And that could have been the saving grace, right? That you look at that whole entire event, that whole thing, that whole charade, and that could have saved that from being an absolute disaster. Number one, love Rosie Perez, the actress. I got no desire to listen to her offer 2 cents about boxing. She may be a boxing fan. That's great. Good for her. No insight whatsoever. They had the one guy that was doing the call of the fight. The big talking guy that used all sorts of crazy phrases like pound for pound. I mean, this guy was, I don't even know who he is. I'll be honest. I don't follow boxing. So maybe he's a well-known boxing commentator, but nothing about it felt good. The opening fight, these two guys, the one dude who wouldn't put his hands up, he just kept trying to dry hump this other dude in the corner. The second fight wasn't too bad. Mario Barrios against Abel Ramos, ending in a draw, which is exactly what Americans don't like. We don't like ties. We don't like draws. That's why soccer's never going to be that popular. We want to see somebody win and somebody lose. That's what we want. And I know you soccer nerds are going to be all mad about that, but that's the reality of it all. We want winners and or losers, one or the other, right? We don't want to draw. Nobody wants to see that. And then, of course, as I mentioned, in the girl fight, Katie Taylor taking on Amanda Serrano. Amanda clearly won that fight if you watched it. And somehow, Katie Taylor held on. The commentators were garbage. Lennox Lewis didn't really offer much in terms of insight. Evander Holyfield couldn't hear anything. So it was like, why even bother? I mean, they had technical issues the whole entire time. And then, of course, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. You see Tyson's butt cheeks, which was that might have been the best part. That and the ring girl. What's her name? Sydney Thomas, the girl with the boobs. Yeah, everybody's excited about Sydney Thomas. She's going to have a lot more Instagram followers now. But Tyson's butt cheeks, surprise of the night. The fight, if you want to call it that, you could kind of tell. It's the same thing I said on Friday. If Tyson's going to have a chance at all, it's going to be in the first, maybe second round. After that, he's going to be gassed. And Roy Jones Jr. was saying the same thing. He's like, I don't like his legs. I don't like his legs. I don't like his legs. He must have said that about 1,000 times. You got to find another way to describe Mike Tyson having weak legs, Roy Jones Jr. You got to find something else. A little bit more verbiage there. Expand the vocabulary. But yeah, you could tell Tyson didn't have it. The biting fixation thing with the gloves. And Jake Paul, he could have knocked his ass out easily. I think Jake Paul, carried him the rest of the fight. I think he just kind of knew he was going to win. And rather than embarrass Tyson by knocking him out or trying to hurt him, I think Jake Paul said, look, the guy's a legend. I'm going to make a ton of money because his name's on the card. So I won't do him dirty. And I guess kudos to Jake Paul for that, if you want to give him any kind of pat on the back. But the whole thing was a farce. Netflix looks stupid. It looked like they can't handle a big event. The NFL is supposed to be going there for Christmas games. WWE is supposed to be live on Netflix. What the hell are they going to do? Figure it out. And this might have been Netflix saying, hey, look, let's have some kind of event where we can work out the kinks, right? And maybe that's what this was. You hope it is, because obviously if they're going to have live WWE programming starting in January, along with NFL games, they're going to need to fix these glitches. People's streaming services going down, microphones not working, earpieces not working. And again, the people that were calling the fight, the commentators and all that, they were terrible. Absolutely terrible. Not a single one of them was good. Lennox Lewis was the only one, I thought, that was, offered any kind of introspection into what was going on with Tyson in the ring.
I don't know, man. I might just fade into Bolivian, you know what I mean?
Like, just fade into Bolivian. But all in all, I thought it was an utter disaster. I can't believe I stayed up and watched it, but I wanted to know what I was talking about when I came into work today. And it was exactly what I thought it would be, an unmitigated disaster. By the way, the ring girl, the one that everybody's in love with, Sydney Thomas, posting on her TikTok, addressing the flood of attention that she's getting, saying, I'm happy you guys enjoyed the broadcast. The video itself said, waking up to see I'm trending for the Tyson versus Paul fight. She's got almost 1 million followers on Instagram, and I'm sure she'll have a lot more over the next couple of days as people start to find out more about her. But that was about it, man. It was just almost unwatchable. The 2 prelim fights were decent. The outcome of both of them was stupid. And the Tyson-Jake Paul thing was just what a waste of time. Yeah. There you go. There's my recap of the Tyson-Jake Paul event that occurred on Friday on Netflix. We'll get to some Soundgarden and Black Veil Brides in a bit. Rockmornings.com if you want to chime in on the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing on Netflix, or if you want to request something, hit us up online, rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is Bleeder from Black Veil Brides. Again, lights on with the fog this morning. Let people know you're out there. Can see you on the roadways. Keep your lights on there, eh? Text from Doc said the chicken fight that preceded Tyson Paul was 1,000% better and more worthy of the main event than those dance partners. I texted Doc back and said, I like chicken fights. Chick fights, I think, is the word you were looking for there. Chick, not chicken. But yeah, that fight was definitely more action-packed. Outcome, though, was either the fix was in or somebody's blind, because I don't know how you watch that fight and think that Taylor won. I mean, she looked like she was out on her feet. Completely out. Serrano's, even with the big gash above her eye, she clearly won that fight. Mike said, he texted in, said, I was told Netflix choked on their Taylor Swift special also, so I hope my favorite team isn't playing on Christmas. Yeah, I don't know about a Netflix Taylor Swift special if that had a problem. I wouldn't be surprised, but if you're wondering, NFL Christmas Day on Netflix, it's Chiefs and Steelers and then Ravens and Texans, and I believe Beyonce is going to be the halftime performance of one of those games, I think the second game. And Mike says, good, not mine, but very watchable glitches or games. Yeah. Yeah, those the Chiefs and Steelers definitely seems like that's going to line up, especially, look, the Steelers beat the Ravens yesterday. The Chiefs have lost finally, and I don't know about Ravens-Texans, but skip that Beyonce performance. Somebody texted in, said, our Netflix crashed on Friday. Didn't talk to anyone or listen to the news or radio until I could watch on Saturday. What a display. I felt dirty after. Pretty sure Canelo is not holding his breath to get in the ring with Jake Paul. Still feeling dirty, from Sherry. Yeah, obviously the memes about Jake Paul fighting old guys, until he gets in the ring with someone that is his age, a professional boxer, in the prime of their career, no one's going to take him seriously. But they don't need to. The guy's making millions and millions of dollars fighting Mike Tyson and Nate Diaz and, anybody else he puts in there, So who's next? Is it going to be Chuck Liddell, somebody like that? Ken Shamrock? Who's he going to fight? And who cares? He doesn't care. He's making so much money. It's ridiculous. And we buy into it. And that's fine. The entertainment value is there. But disappointed at the end. Certainly, that whole spectacle was garbage. Everything about it was terrible. Trash. And I like Cedric the Entertainer. I didn't feel like he offered anything. Rosie Perez was useless. She didn't have anything really important to say or impactful. You can't just, as a person who's done radio for a long, long time, you can't just take random famous people and stick them next to each other and expect them to be able to succinctly and informatively tell people what's going on in the ring. You just can't do it. It just doesn't work. Again, Roy Jones Jr. was the only one who was able to offer any kind of insight into boxing. Derek said the Tyson-Paul fight was definitely a test for their live streaming, and they failed. WWE won't have as many people tuning in regularly. NFL is another story. Yeah, obviously the WWE thing, if you're the WWE and you're like going into this and you're watching Netflix on Friday and you're like, oh, snap, we better make sure that we get this figured out because we can't be having people tuning in and getting pissed off at us after we sign this huge deal. Yeah, the NFL, same thing. Jarrah down there talking to him. At least the UFC fights on Saturday night were worth watching. You had John Bones Jones kicking the crap out of Stipe Miocic, made him retire. Kicked him so hard he retired. You got the president there, ringside with Joe Rogan and Kid Rock and Elon Musk and Bones doing the dance, the Trump dance. That was hilarious. Joe says, put him in the octagon. He'll look at things totally different. Yeah, I don't think Jake Paul's getting into the octagon at all. I did see a good suggestion that, and I don't know this because I don't follow wrestling anymore, at least not as much as some of my friends do, but I saw somebody say that Logan Paul, Jake Paul's brother, who you saw coming out to the ring with him on Friday night on Netflix, is apparently fighting at Survivor Series, I think, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And somebody said have Mike Tyson accompany him down to the ring or something. I don't know. Mike already did the WWE. He already did all that years ago. And I just said, Mike said all the right things afterwards, and he's going to make a ton of money off this. But it's another example of why guys like Ric Flair and I love Flair and I love Tyson, but like, dude, you can't, don't do it. Don't get back in the ring. It's sad. It's pathetic. You look sad. It's not how we want to remember you, right? The Joe Montana, right? Still hanging on for dear life. And most of us for the most part, don't remember those last couple of years of a legendary quarterback's career when they move on to some other team. Obviously, we remember, for those of us that are my age, the vicious, violent fights when Mike Tyson would just destroy human beings. He would just hit them so hard that they would leave their body and go to another realm. I mean, I vividly remember sitting down and watching so many Tyson fights in my teens. You had to watch it. You had to. It was must-see TV. And, of course, then you get this at the end of his career, and it's like, I knew this was going to happen. I just knew it. Sad. Thank you for the text messages. Appreciate it. Again, I don't think Jake Paul's getting in the octagon. Maybe. Maybe against some washed-up old UFC fighter. But we'll see. The thing that sucked, I thought, was just the whole thing was just not good. There was really not much positive to take out of it. The ring girl, if you're focused, if the only thing that came out of that was some unknown girl on TikTok and Instagram, then that says a lot about the quality of your product. Yeah. Well, I like the packaging of the bottle. I don't really care about what it does inside. It doesn't do very much, but the packaging's really slick. Soundgarden now.
Rock Mornings on your rock station.
Soundgarden on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, if you want to get in touch with us, rockmornings.com for all our contact info. Stream the show live. Check out the daily podcast. Register to win contests. You can find our social media feeds. Poll found out that the average person spends 40 minutes a day wishing they were somewhere else or thinking about their next vacation. The average per week is about 4 hours and 42 minutes. That seems low. 40 minutes a day? Dreaming about being somewhere else? If you work an 8-hour shift, that's 5 minutes an hour, right? Did I do the math correctly? That's it? Seems low. Top 10 places we wish we were right now instead of being at work. The beach? I'm not a big beach guy. Road trip? Like that. In the mountains? Not a big mountains guy. On an island? Camping? I could see camping. There's drinking involved. An adventure? Whatever that might mean. Looking for buried treasure. At a theme park, cultural or historic location, festival, concert, or sporting event. There you go. That's number 9. That should be higher. Also, this should be higher. Number 10, somewhere that involves really good food. Hell yeah. Those are too low on the list. I don't know if they're... Yeah, they are listed in terms of importance. I would put festival, concert, or sporting event way higher than 9. Same with a place that has really good food. I'd put that way higher than 10. But yeah, 40 minutes a day. Wishing you were somewhere else. 8-hour shift, that's 5 minutes an hour. That seems low. Second Floor Sarah is going to join us here in just a bit, talk about stuff that's happening in the area this week. Also going to get her opinion, assuming she watched it, of the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson event on Friday night on Netflix. I am not going to call it a fight anymore. That was not a fight. It was not even close. I still don't understand how Serrano didn't win. I mean, she beat her ass. Beat her senseless. Taylor was out there in the ring, didn't know, she might not have known her name. You could have probably asked her name. She probably wouldn't have known it. That's how confused she looked. She was just teeing off on her. And she had some good combos, too. Taylor, I mean, she was still throwing those, 3-4 combos, but she just looked lost. deer in the headlights kind of thing. Lincoln Park coming up in just a bit. Stick around.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Lincoln Park on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on Mondays, just after 8 o'clock. We're joined by Second Floor Sarah. Tell us about what's happening in our area this weekend, and we'll get to her in just a few moments. But first, birthdays. Happy birthday, David Ortiz. Big Papi, 49.
This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
Hell yeah. David Ortiz, 49. Big Papi. Also celebrating a birthday today, Owen Wilson.
Oh, wow. 7 projects. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Flippers and all. Wow.
Yeah, he likes to say wow a lot. He is 56, by the way. Owen Wilson, 56. Also celebrating a birthday today, Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett. He is 62. More from Metallica a bit later on, but Kirk Hammett, their guitarist, their axe slayer, 62. Kevin Nealon, 71, former SNL cast member, of course, been in a bunch of movies as well.
Well, you know, I've always liked watching The View, nauseating. I mean, it's a show that, and I mean, to be working with these lovely co-host hookers, I mean, what's better than that? You know what I mean? But I'd say more importantly, it's fun to be a guest on this show, Torture. You know, it's just a nice show. And it's
subliminal message man, Kevin Nealon, 71 years old today. Happy birthday, Kevin Nealon. Dennis Haskins is 74. You know him better as Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell. Lover of karaoke. Apparently the guy does karaoke everywhere and anywhere. Just gets up there and does the thing. Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell. Dennis Haskins, 74. Rudy Sarzo is also 74. He is the bass player for a bunch of different bands, including Whitesnake and Quiet Riot. He's worked with Ozzy and a whole slew of others. Herman Rarebell is 75. He's the drummer for the Scorpions. And Mickey Mouse is 96 today. M-I-C? K-E-Y. Yeah, made his first appearance on this day 96 years ago in that Steamboat Willie short. So today is technically Mickey Mouse's birthday. Janice Lynn Kundemund, I think I pronounced that correctly, was born on this day in 1961, died in 2013. She was the guitarist for Vixen. The band that Gene was in back in the 80s. Did you know Gene was in a band in the 80s?
I didn't.
The band Vixen, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's her picture right over there. See on the wall, on the door?
Yeah.
Gene, that was her bandmate, Janice. On this day in 1978, Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid, 900 followers committing suicide, quote-unquote suicide, in the jungles of Guyana. Members of the People's Temple cult drank Flavor Aid laced with cyanide. Kool-Aid, though, gets all the press, even though it was actually Flavor Aid. That was in 1978. Mass suicide. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts on this day in 1981 released their second album, I Love Rock and Roll, featuring... Yeah. You can't have a title track, right? You have to. It's a must. 1983, a couple of movies in theaters right across the hall from each other. Completely different types of movies. One of them was Sleepaway Camp. Yeah. For those of you that know, you know. The other movie in theaters on this day in 1983 was Ralphie and his Red Ryder BB gun. Christmas Story.
I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 2-inch range ball air rifle. No. Shoot your eye out.
Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. 1990, Stephen King's It premiered on ABC. It was, I believe, a mini-series before it became, of course, kind of a movie.
Let go. Be afraid. Remove the stones. You all taste so much better when you're afraid.
Tim Curry is Pennywise the Clown. 1992, the movie Malcolm X in theaters starring Denzel Washington, directed by Spike Lee.
White people love Wayne Brady because he makes
Brian Gumbel looked like Malcolm X.
Who knew? Thank you. 1994, one of my favorite films ever in theaters. Leon the Professional.
No women, no kids.
No women, no kids. Oh, Gary Oldman was so good in that movie. So good. 1997, Metallica releasing their 7th studio album, Reload. That's the one with Fuel, Memory Remains, Unforgiven 2. Better Than You. Audioslave dropped their self-titled debut album on this day in 2002, featuring Cochise, Show Me How to Live, Like a Stone, I Am the Highway. That did pretty well for those guys. I remember before that album came out, we were like, so you're going to take Rage Against the Machine and make Chris Cornell the lead singer? How's that going to work? And it worked. It was great. 2005, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in theaters. Which one is that?
It's like the 4th one, 5th
All right.
one.
You young people remember.
One of the better ones, in my opinion.
But when they're really young, it's kind of hard to get into it when they're like 4-year-olds.
Slow movie.
Yeah. When it starts to get violent and dark, that's when I'm in for the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, the last two? My favorite.
Neville got me at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I cried. I did. I'll admit it. 8 years ago today, 2016, Metallica dropped their 10th album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, featuring, of course, the title track, also Atlas Rise, Moth into the Flames, Spit Out the Bone. And just 7 years ago today, 2017, AC/DC co-founder Malcolm Young died tragically at the age of 64. And there you go. Some stuff that happened on November 18th, along with some birthdays. Second Floor Sarah is going to join us here next to talk about what's happening in our area this weekend.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, Second Floor Sarah in studio to talk to us about stuff that's happening in our area this week. We've got, what the hell is Book Talk? What is that? You're trying to explain it to me, and I don't. So people still read books?
Yeah, people still read books.
So this is like bingo?
Yeah, Book Talk Bingo. That's going on at 608 Brewing. I mean, that's definitely an event that I would go to. I don't know. When's the last time you read a book?
I read Jaws this summer. I'd never read the book. I had always seen the movie, obviously.
Okay.
But I finally read the book. We had gone on vacation, and we were on the Cape, and I saw it in a store, and so I picked it up, and I read it on the drive back, and it was not what I expected.
Not like the movie?
Different. Not in a good way, at least in my opinion. So...
Yeah.
But that was probably the last book I actually read.
Okay.
That's probably not going to be part of Book Talk Bingo?
No, Book Talk it's books that are trending on TikTok between primarily women. But just they get together and giggle about different things.
So it's like book
that
club.
Are trending. Yeah, kind of.
And they play bingo.
But to play bingo.
And drink beers.
About these books that they've read and stuff. That's going on tomorrow at 6:08.
Tomorrow at 6:08? Okay.
At 6:30.
6:30. Ooh, that's too late. That's past my bedtime. Yeah, I'm not going to go discuss books at 6:30. No offense, Phil. I love you, buddy. But, yeah, that's late for me.
Yeah.
And then the Turkey Trot, when is that? Saturday?
Turkey Trot on Saturday. UWL Turkey Trot run walk. So you don't have to run the whole way if you don't want to.
I did it one year, and I jogged a little bit, and then I walked, and then I jogged, and then I walked, and then I walked, and then I walked, and then it was over. It's a 5K, right?
Yeah. I'm certainly not a runner anymore, so I think I would probably take the same approach to that.
And it's a fundraiser, too, right? And Festival Foods is involved, I believe?
Always Festival Foods. I'm going to be doing that. It's their 29th annual, which I think that's pretty cool,
been around
too.
for a bit.
Long time.
Yeah, and it ain't going to be nice, by the way, on Saturday. It's going to be like in the 30s, so you're going to want to bundle up. And it's always early in the morning, too. It's at like 9 o'clock, isn't it?
9 a.m., yep.
Yeah, it's going to be like super chilly at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Early start. Get your joints moving and go do something fun then.
Joints, huh?
Another thing going on this week, Thursday is the 60th annual holiday fair that's going on at the Lacrosse Center.
Yeah, we had Bree in last week from the Lacrosse Center talking about that. It's their 60th, I believe.
Yeah.
And, it's always a good time to go down there, walk around. You can get some good Christmas shopping done, and there's usually snacks. The dip people, they got all their dips out. You can try some dips. Santa's going to be there, and food trucks, I believe, and all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, tickets are available at the door only for that event as well.
Yeah,
so
go to the center's website, lacrossecenter.com, for more info. But 60th annual holiday fair, going to be down there. Did you watch the Tyson thing on Friday night?
I didn't, but I
you didn't miss
think
out.
I saw enough updates on Facebook to get the gist of what happened.
You didn't miss out. Yeah, it was bad, real bad.
His butt cheeks were out.
Yeah, it was shocking. You know, did you see the how that occurred? Did you watch the video?
He was doing an interview, right?
Yeah, with his own son. So he's in like the locker room, and it's hard to call it a locker room because, it's, first of all, there's like a ton of people in there, right? When they're showing him walking into the arena, he goes in there and there's 30 people just kind of hanging out in the locker room. Same with the rest of the boxers when they would follow them in through the tunnels or whatever. And you're like, what are all these people doing in their locker room? Get out of there. So he's in there and, they're showing him from essentially the neck up, and he's doing an interview with his kid. His own kid is interviewing him. And then, he's just, all of a sudden he gives him a kiss on the cheek, and he turns around to walk away, and they panned out, and all of a sudden it's Mike Tyson's butt cheeks, which might be the most memorable thing about the entire event. That and the girl with the boobs. Yeah. Sydney Thomas.
Gonna be made of that.
Yeah, there was. I made a few myself, actually. So next weekend is hunting, Widow's Weekend. You're going to be out in the blind.
Yeah, I'm not going to be partaking in Widow Weekend activities, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're not a widow. You're a widower, right?
Yes.
Or widowee.
Yep.
Or you leave someone behind. Are you married? You're married, right?
I am married, yep.
Does your husband go out with you, or do you guys?
He goes on his own.
Okay.
He doesn't get to hunt on my land.
This is just a you and your dad thing? This is all right.
Yeah.
And you showed me the buck last week. Are we
a couple weeks ago.
Looking for that guy again?
He's still around, so
all right.
I'm hoping.
What are you shooting with next weekend?
243. So it's a average size round. It's nothing too big, nothing too small.
Enough to take that big boy down, though, you think?
Oh, yeah.
You get him in the right spot?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then you got a Kubota or something to drag it out of there, or what?
No. My two bare hands, I guess.
Oof. It's going to be tough. You just told me your dad had some surgery, right? You're going to have to do all of the labor.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to, gut it out and everything for it.
Oof. All right. Widow's Weekend coming up next week for a lot of people in the Midwest as the hunters make their way into the woods. Sarah's going to be one of them. So good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming down. Again, Sarah, Second Floor Sarah, joining us on Mondays to talk about what's happening this week in our area. And if you want more events, you can go to aroundrivercity.com or go to aroundthe715.com for events in both La Crosse and Eau Claire.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Papa Roach, Last Resort. Bad News, Happy Music coming up in just a bit. But first, sports. Packers holding on to beat Chicago yesterday, 20-19. Vikings over the Titans. Lions all over the Jags, 52-6 final score there. Chiefs lost to the Bills yesterday, so the lone undefeated team in the NFL is now defeated. And Week 11 will wrap up tonight with the Texans at the Cowboys. Bucs lost to the Hornets on Saturday, 115-114. They're at home against Houston tonight, 7 o'clock tip. That game on NBA TV. Cavaliers still undefeated. They're 15-0 to start the season. They're going into Boston, though, tomorrow night, take on the defending NBA champion Boston Celtics. We'll see if they can keep that streak alive. Badgers lost to Oregon, but it wasn't as bad as everybody thought it might be. I mean, certainly the Badgers were bad, the offense especially, but the quarterback too. But they only lost 16-13. Next up, in Nebraska, Saturday at 2:30 on the Big Ten Network. Badgers 5-5 on the season with 2 games left in the regular season. Of course, Jake Paul over Iron Mike Tyson on Friday night, unanimous decision in that very boring and lopsided fight. UFC 309, John Jones. Spinning back kick, third round of his heavyweight championship fight against Stipe Miocic, put Stipe to an end and also ended his career. Following his third round stoppage, Miocic announced his retirement, said, "I'm done. I'm hanging them up." A couple of records set over the weekend, or kind of set, if you will. Kino Oriema earned his 1,216th win on Friday night as his number 2 Yukon Huskies beat number 14 North Carolina 69-58. That matched Tara Vanderveer, who retired in April after 38 seasons at Stanford. His record with the Huskies is 1,216 and 162. That's an 88.2% win percentage, along with 11 national championships. Yeah, so he could break the record Wednesday against Fairleigh Dickinson. Probably will. Also, Chris Paul became the third player in NBA history to reach 12,000 assists in his career. He did it with his third assist in San Antonio's 120-115 loss to the Lakers on Friday. Paul joined a list previously occupied by only John Stockton and Jason Kidd. Obviously, he's got a long way to go to catch John Stockton, but he might get Jason Kidd. Maybe not this year, but Maybe by next year if he continues to play. And James Harden passed Ray Allen for second on the NBA's all-time three-pointers list on Sunday night, last night against the Utah Jazz. Harden made 2 3-pointers and finished with 20 points and 11 assists, 6 rebounds, helping the Clippers to a 116-105 win, and now he's in second place, passing Ray Allen. And Ovi is now just, 29 goals away from the great one? Uh-oh. Alexander Ovechkin recording his first hat trick of the season, scoring 3 goals last night for the Caps in their 5-2 win over the Golden Knights. It was his first hat trick since 2022, 31st of his career, which is good for sixth most in NHL history. Ovechkin, 866 career goals, now just 29 away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL goal-scoring record. Oof. Ovi. Getting real close. Got a text from Joe. Wanted us to wish a happy birthday to his sister, Nicole Winrich, I think is how you pronounce that. She turns 41 today. Happy 41st birthday, Nicole Winrich, from your brother Joe. We'll get to bad news, happy music in just a couple minutes. Stick around.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
A teacher in South Carolina has filed a sexual harassment suit against her student, her 10-year-old student, after the child apparently hugged her multiple times. In the complaint, the teacher says that the child in October had, quote, laid his head on her chest while he hugged her. And in another instance, also in October, the teacher says he, quote, pressed his body into hers and wrapped his arms around her. The teacher says that when she claims that she told him hugging from behind is very inappropriate, not to do it again. Teacher says that he approached her from behind, pressed his body into hers, and put his hands on her hip/side area, attempting to hug her from behind again. The teacher claims it was this one that led her to file the case. The boy's mom, Lindsay Casey, says she is hurt and confused.
He feels the same way I do, hurt, confusion. I feel like school should be a safe place, and him not feeling that way anymore has him in a world of emotions right now.
Apparently unaware it had gotten that far or that there was even an issue, the mom says. The school district said they're doing what they can to ensure that both parties feel heard in the situation. The child has now been put on a, quote, no hug policy while the claims are being investigated.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olaf, and I like warm hugs.
Yeah, kid likes warm hugs, and apparently too many of them. As of now, evidence being reviewed, district said it could take between 40 and 120 days before an official decision is made.
Need a hug? We're not a hugging family. Damn straight.
That kid is a hugging kid, though, apparently. Yeah, teaching a kid boundaries, obviously. I don't know if a lawsuit or... isn't there some sort of escalation? Like a note that goes home with the kid? Like a parent-teacher conference type thing? Where the parents are made aware of it, that it's an issue for the teacher? And then eventually, if the kid doesn't stop, some sort of discipline there? Not just boom, right to the lawsuit? And not necessarily a lawsuit, it's a complaint, apparently. Sexual harassment complaint against the 10-year-old kid in her class. 40 to 120 days to investigate. Add this to the list of weird things seen at customs. 28-year-old South Korea man arrested at an airport in Peru the other day after he was trying to smuggle 320 tarantulas by strapping them to his body, literally becoming Spider-Man. 285 of the 320 tarantulas were babies that were packed in plastic tubes, but the other 35 were full-grown tarantulas, adults described as being the size of a human hand. And this guy's just duct taping them to his body and trying to get on a plane. No, don't want that. Had him stuffed in bags, belted to his torso. Security flagged him when they noticed his stomach seemed abnormally swollen. Oh, it's swollen because I've got a bunch of spiders strapped to my body. You know, adult tarantulas. On top of the 320 tarantulas, he also had 110 centipedes strapped to his body and 9 bullet ants, known for having the most painful sting of any insect. There must be money to be made with bringing in illegal animals and stuff. They think he poached them from the Amazon with plans to resell them overseas. He was flying back to South Korea with a layover in France. Oof. What if the dude, passes out? Or has a stroke and dies? And all these animals just start, these spiders and ants and centipedes just get loose on the plane. Oh, God. Nightmare fuel. You don't want that guy getting through customs. Good thing they caught him. Strapping live tarantulas to his body. I'm going to add that to the list of reasons not to get on a plane. Might have somebody with a bunch of live animals strapped to their body. I don't know, you got a cat or a hamster, maybe a gerbil. Be all right with that, but tarantulas and centipedes and bullet ants and snakes, and no, I don't want to be on that plane. I also don't want to be on this plane. This is a plane that was just sitting there on the tarmac. Southwest Airlines flight hit by bullets while preparing to take off from Dallas Love Field Airport on Friday evening.
Did they think that somebody from outside the airport shot a firearm at the aircraft?
We'll have to return to the gate. Need to have an inspection done here on the aircraft.
Didn't we just have a story about this? Down in Puerto Rico or something? Plane that was taken off, got hit by gang gunfire. This sounds like maybe just one bullet. Spokesperson for Southwest Airlines says that the flight taxied safely back to the terminal after a bullet apparently struck the right side of the aircraft just under the flight deck while the crew was prepping to depart for Indianapolis. No injuries were reported. Spokesperson for the actual airport also confirmed the incident, said the plane sustained damage and returned to the gate where passengers were safely deplaned. The plane has been removed from service. So that's a whole other thing you got to worry about now with planes and flying is people shooting the planes. What the hell's going on?
Have you ever fired your gun up in the air and gone, ah?
No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
Somebody did. They hit that plane. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting on a plane again ever.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Nope. Don't want that. Temperatures dropping this week. Today and tomorrow, not bad. Mid-50s, but looks like it's going to be in the low 40s, maybe even 30s. With some snow possible. And apparently doctors are now warning men to watch out for winter penis, a seasonal condition that may hinder a man's ability to perform sexually. It's like shrinkage. I was in the pool. As the temperature drops, the male genitalia apparently recedes into the body to maintain body heat, resulting in restricted blood flow. The phenomenon, which affects men of all ages, can cause the member to shrink in size by up to 50%. Oofta. I don't even know if I got 50%. What happens if I don't have 50%? Yeah. That's not good. Watch out for winter penis. Really, it's a thing. And it's back. Dr. Donald Grant, general practitioner, explained that winter penis is a passing condition for most men, occurring only during frigid conditions and reversing once the temperature recovers. So if you're trying to get romantic outside after shoveling, it might not be a good idea. Go inside, warm up first by the fireplace. Then see if you can get things done. All right. It's good advice. And last but not least, there's not a lot of information about this video. All I can tell you is that it's on Barstool. And if you Google it, pickleball kick, it should be the first result you see. This dude gets kicked right square in the face after a pickleball match. It's impressive, this kick. I got to be honest. These guys, first of all, very competitive. Some kind of pickleball match. Couple of dudes, dude bros, 20s, 30s. They're playing doubles. Is that how it normally goes at pickleball? Or, all right, I don't know. One guy couldn't take losing. And as they go to kind of like dap up and high five and shake hands and say good match, the one dude knocks the guy's paddle out of his hand, reaches down to pick it up over the net on the other side of the net, and as he's reaching down, gets kicked square in the face. I mean, brutal kick, UFC style. Then you got a woman that comes in trying to break things up. Dude's partner, I got to be honest, not a very good friend. Your friend just took a kick square to the face, and you don't try to, like, mix it up with the other guy, the guy that did the kicking. You just kind of, like, try to play peacemaker over there. I mean, dude got popped good. And he points at him. And his partner, all he does is kind of put his hands up in exasperation and walk over to the guy, but doesn't try to violently assault him. This poor dude, look at him bend over. Wham! Hat comes off. He goes down. The net comes down. Again, if you haven't seen the video, Barstool's got it. Or just Google pickleball kick. It should pop right up. It's an impressive kick.
Rock mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com. Visit the website for all our contact info. Got a text from Ashley earlier. Wanted to hear some Breaking Benjamin for her birthday. Happy birthday, Ashley. We played your Breaking Benjamin. Rob, the Bears fan, says, I hate football. Every single year it's the same crap. Only 129 days left until opening day for baseball. And I suggested that, hey, look, man, if you're that miserable cheering for the Bears, there's no law against changing your fandom. And I'm not saying you got to go and be a Packer fan. I'm just saying, like, look, man, if the Bears aren't doing it for you anymore and you've had it, you can change your fandom. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying you can if you want. There's no law against it, I don't think. We'll see what happens in January. Thank you, Rob, though, for the text. Zach wanted to hear some Bat Country by A7X. We did that. You're welcome, Zach. Derek texting in about the Tyson Paul event. Said it was definitely a test for their live streaming and they failed. WWE won't have as many people tuning in regularly. NFL is a whole nother story. Yeah, I didn't know about this Taylor Swift thing. Apparently they had a live thing with Taylor Swift. I didn't do any research on it, so I have no idea if it was buffering as badly as the Tyson Paul event. But much like what Derek said, I don't think the WWE is going to have to worry too much about it. I mean, they were talking about 60 million people tuning in. That's a lot. I don't know if WWE is going to have that many, but the NFL, again, with a couple of games on Christmas on Netflix, we'll see what they do. They're going to figure this thing out. I'm sure they're working on it. Mike said, I was told Netflix choked on their Taylor Swift special also, so I hope my favorite team isn't playing on Christmas. And it's the Chiefs and Steelers, and then you got the Ravens and Texans. He said, not my teams, but very watchable. Sherry said, our Netflix crashed on Friday. Didn't talk to anybody or listen to the news or radio until I could watch it on Saturday. What a display. I felt dirty afterwards. Pretty sure Canelo is not holding his breath to get in the ring with Jake Paul. Still feeling dirty. Yeah. We didn't lose our connection. We just went from HD to standard def and then it pixelated a little bit, but it came back. We never lost the actual connection. Joe wanted to wish happy birthday to his sister, Nicole. I did that. You're welcome. And Doc earlier said the chicken fight that preceded Tyson Paul was 1,000% better and more worthy of the main event than those dance partners. And I said, I also like chicken fights. Little talk-to-text issue there for Doc. It's all good. Happens to the best of us. Thank you very much for all the correspondence this morning. Good to hear from you. Again, reminder to keep your lights on if you're in an area where it's foggy. Obviously, want to let people know you're on the roadway, so keep your lights on as you head into work or about your business today. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.